recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
All right. Good evening and welcome to our August 4th today regular board meeting of the East St. Peter Township Board of Supervisors. Joined in the room by Mr. Corey Meyer, Mr. Ted Gallagher, Vice Chair Mike Thornton, and Mr. Roger Rutten. If you will join me and pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We can grab agendas in the back. One thing I want to add to our agenda, just announce we had an executive session prior to this meeting to discuss a real estate matter. At this point, we'll go to item 3 for public comment on any non-agenda item. If there's anyone here for something that's not on the agenda, now is your chance to share it. We'll have plenty of time for all the agenda items, as well as another shot at the end of the meeting if you think of something during the meeting. Hearing them, we'll move on to our consent agenda. We've got quite a few items here. I'll read through them and then we'll take action on all of them together. The first is the approval of the August 4th, 2025 Board of Supervisors meeting agenda. We have item 4B, approval of the minutes of the Monday, July 14th, 2025 regular meeting. 4C, financial security reduction for 2021-25 Studler Real Estate Land Development Plan at 2599 Old Philadelphia Pike. Engineer's letter recommends a partial release of the site construction portion in the amount of $131,102.62, leaving $567,840.68 in that portion, and no reduction in the sewer portion at the time. Thus, that will remain at $58,933. We have item 4D, time extension to record conditionally approved plan 2023-20 for Dutch Wonderland Water Park expansion at 2249 Lincoln Highway East. The applicant is requesting a 90-day time expire on Sunday, November 2nd. Staff recommends that we consider a time extension to Monday, November 10th, which is our regularly scheduled board meeting date. So that is a time extension through November 10th. We have item E, time extension for action 2025-07 for Benjamin and Rachel Fisher Stormwater Management Plan across from 782 Hartman Station Road. We don't have an address for the property yet. This time extension is to accommodate the time for the applicant to get a variance. So the applicant is proposing time extension until October 29th, 2025, which means we'll take action by our October 20th board meeting. Item F, time extension for action 2025-08 for FedEx Stormwater Management Plan at 1851 Colonial Village Lane. The applicant's offering a time extension until September 15th, 2025. Take action by then. We have item G, appoint Kimberly Peastrack, our assistant township manager, as the right to know officer for East Lampeter Township. And we have item H, approval to pay all invoices from all funds totaling $685,044.86. Of the bills to be paid, we've got 2 that are significant. We have $346,596.27 to H&K Group for 2025 paving of township roadways. $15,909 to Lafayette Fire Company for insurance reimbursements.
Motion to approve the consent agenda items A through H.
By Mr. Gallagher, second by Mr. Meyer. Is there any public comment on the consent agenda?
Note on 4D that they want to amend the motion to extend it to November 10th.
Yeah, I think that's what I
Did you say?
yeah. That one is through November 10th. Any other board discussion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. We'll move on to item 5, a presentation from Conestoga Valley Seeds. Is it all or just a few of you?
So thank you everyone for giving us this opportunity to present to you tonight and for also just the last year partnership that we've had with you all. So you can follow along. I think you have the presentation, your notes, and everyone can follow along on the screen. But we are, I'm Kristen Hershey, this is Michelle Kime. We are the co-directors of Conestoga Valley Seeds. Seeds exist to cultivate a healthy and thriving Conestoga Valley community. And our mission statement is to enrich lives by connecting our community to housing resources, educational support, and health services. So our partnership goal, and this began back in October of 2024, was to connect with families and individuals within East San Pedro Township who are experiencing homeless, either living in hotels or unhoused in the community. So over the first year of collaboration, Seeds agreed to work up to 4 additional hours per week above and beyond our normal Seeds hours at a $37.50 per hour rate, and that we would be given $2,500 for supplies. This was for things like blankets, hygiene kits, any like hand warmers, things like that for distributing to the community for grandchildren for last year. So I'm going to take you real quick through so far how that time has been spent. There'll still be more in our program so far. This is just giving you a broad overview, realizing that it's a little bit tricky sometimes to totally tally how everything is spent. This partnership is above and beyond what we're already doing. And together we are 50 hours a week in our job with Seeds. And so this is kind of over that 50 hours, what we're showing you is done in East San Pedro Township over our 50 hours with homelessness. That makes sense. It's a little bit nuanced and a little bit tricky to figure out, but digital communication, basically meaning emails. Email, so about 7 hours was spent, and specifically this was then, yes, connecting by email to our CV social workers, Touch and Care, our police department, homelessness coalition, and working with Empower Lancaster, which is a program which kind of helps us with that. What's going on in different homeless neighbors. Next, we have working one-on-one then with families. And so this would be talking with individuals, talking with landlords, meeting in person, participating in the PIT count, that point in time count, where we're going out into our community, specifically in East San Pedro and County, still on the streets that night. Picking up furniture from our storage unit. We have a storage unit and getting it to people who we've been able to connect with to help them move out of. Hotels and into homes. We were grateful that we had 5 different families that we connected with in this past year, and we're able to help them, be part of them moving out of hotels and into homes. So that's kind of in this number right here, hours. The next one then is training. Lots of trainings. We're new in this role. So trainings and meetings. We have weekly Zoom meetings with all the Lancaster County outreach workers. We're grateful for them. Connecting, keeping tabs on what's happening in their groups. People are transient, so hearing stories and what are you doing with this person? We actually connect with that person. So those Zooms are really important. Regular meetings with Tenfold, with Food Hub, with Chief, with, again, in person then ones with CV social workers, Homelessness Coalition, training in trauma. And another thing you're going to be hearing about soon, but setting up a partnership then with Union Community Care. So they will be at our location twice a week, being able to work and help with some of our homeless neighbors.
Twice a week or twice a month?
Twice a month. I said week, yes, but it is month. The next one then is visiting hotels. So we also then spent time just with these hygiene kits that have been collected, going to the hotels and introducing ourselves, introducing this partnership, giving hotel owners just ways that they can connect with us when they come in contact with people struggling.
Can I ask a question?
For sure.
So what sort of response are you getting at that?
Very positive.
Really positive.
So I spent quite a bit of time doing that in these summer months. We had an intern with us this summer, so she and I would go out together. It was nice to travel in pairs just for safety's sake. Very, very well received, very positive feedback. So if we are able to continue a partnership, I would love to be able to continue just making that round again and again. We even had Florrie's campground down in Round. They come on back anytime we want to see you again. Like, so I think there's just the community is grateful to kind of know what to do and who to contact. So that was very.
Would you say that a good variety of the hotels, because the vast majority, we believe, are really doing a great job. We have some that have issues more than others, so.
Yeah, I feel
Regardless,
people were always, they received me very
Yeah.
kindly. I made sure that they knew that I was in partnership with you all so that I had some legitimacy. And they were just grateful. The best thing to describe, so. Two other programs I want to tell you about that weren't actually shown in this because they were newer things that we have started doing is we had a block party in partnership with the worship center 2 weeks ago. And that was just for our neighbors who were identified as homeless in the last school year. And so 3 churches connected with us and raised money for backpacks. And the worship center donated all the money for the school supplies. So the backpacks were full of school supplies. We had 6 people there doing free haircuts. And we had Union Community Care there caring for health. There was food there, all kinds of games, face painting like you would have at a carnival. And so that was, you won't see that here because that was kind of in seeds hours. So that's just another thing that's happening for our homeless neighbors. Another thing is in partnership with Zion Lutheran Church is the first Saturday of each month. We have what we're calling refreshing recreation, specifically for families that are in hotels, not doubled up, but that are living in our hotels. And this is a space for them to go to the church and run and play in the gym. They get a breakfast, a made to order menu where they can say, I want scrambled eggs, I want my eggs over easy, I want cheese added, like you would at a restaurant. And we celebrate their birthdays there. They get gifts. We did tie-dyeing this past Saturday, and it's just, yeah, a precious time with these families. They're able to connect together. The kids have a blast, get them out of hotels and running around and having community together. So it's just some of the things that aren't quite in that because they fit into the little categories we created, but just some different programs that specifically with our homeless community. So far, this is what we have spent of the 10,000, but it isn't showing the June, July, or August yet. With all of the other things going on with these, and only the 2 of us, and 3 townships realistically needing attention in this area, we need an additional Seeds employee to work more specifically within our county. Brought on with the township. We were really hoping to focus on encampments. And then about 1 month after our partnership beginning, that encampment was dispersed. So that kind of did change our focus a little bit. Some of our initial ideas of offering warm drinks or hot soup on a cold day weren't really necessary because the encampment didn't reform. So it just shifted our way of reaching out to the community. Training and learning best practices in these early beginnings was truly invaluable. The partnerships and communication between other Lancaster County outreach workers is unique and important, and we are grateful. And that was similar to what Michelle talked about with the weekly outreach workers Zoom meetings. It's just so good to talk, to be in communication, because yeah, people move around, but they also stay.
and that was that an existing Zoom meeting?
It was. And so when we became a part of this partnership, we were then to be in those meetings. So very, very helpful. So we just wanted to mention too that the posture of East Lampeter Township towards our neighbors experiencing homelessness is unique. It's important, and it's really very beautiful. I think kudos to you all because not every township is addressing this, and it needs to be addressed. So thank you. Thank you for seeking out ways to see and care for the humanity within our neighbors. So our next steps as we move forward is we are hiring a 12-hour-a-week needs advocate who works specifically within our housing resources focus. So we're doing this in partnership with the Factory Ministries. If you are familiar with them, They have 30 years of experience where we are heading into we're about to celebrate our third birthday. So we are grateful for their education, for their training, and for their partnership. They are taking someone who is currently a part-time advocate, and we will add 12 hours to that person while full-time work, and we'll do 12 hours with them. And so they have the training, they have the understanding, they will just be focused for those 12 hours on Conestoga Valley. And so we're super grateful. That will start September 1st. So that is on its way.
And could I just jump in and
Yeah.
mention too, that in that partnership, they will wear jury hats when they're jury. They will then wear their seeds hat when they're seeds. They will have separate emails and people will just be shared with that transiency along that PVCV line there on Lincoln Highway.
And then, yes, I kind of referred to it a little bit before, but Steve will have a community health resource coordinator 2 times a month at our new location. And that allows for families and individuals to be able to walk in, connect with her in areas of need connected with health. So that will be the first and third Thursday of each month from 1 to 4. We're just beginning to publicize that. That note with explaining all that is in each of the hygiene kits that the hotels get. So the hotels will have that information that people can connect with us there. And she can help with any kind of things that you need to relate to the health care. So as we look towards this next year, we're incredibly grateful for the partnership. We would love to grow this partnership. We would certainly leave in place and would ask that we could even grow it as we look towards the future. Our proposal would be increasing it to $14,750. And looking at the next slide, it kind of breaks down about what that would be. So this new advocate that we're having would be paying for 5 of her 12 hours, which then she would specifically be working in East Lampeter during those with our families in hotels and with our families who are experiencing unsheltered homelessness. $1,000 for supplies, and then just some extra money because when our health services providers there, one of us will also be there, so she's not alone in the space. That helps cover some of our time as well as building expenses. That's just our proposal as we look towards the future program growth.
What are your other funding sources other than our small $10,000?
Yeah, so all of our funding is private, individuals, businesses, churches. Our community has been very, very generous. And we're grateful that they see the value in the work that we're doing and the services that we're doing.
We are grateful for partnerships with our businesses. We always have a spring giving campaign where businesses put in things. We've been grateful to get the Clark Foundation grant 3 different times. So yeah, its majority is personal funding, people deciding to give year-end gifts, become monthly donors, churches giving.
And even like the hygiene kits that we've referred to, a lot of those are even donated throughout the year. School groups, church groups reach out, say, what can we do? They'll have little packing parties and we'll supply the list and how to do it. And they'll return those items. So even as we ask for like $1,000, just know that we are trying to still be resourceful in that and allow others to step in and help to supply food needs. Any other questions?
What is your total budget overall? What are your ending needs?
25?
Yeah. Yeah, around that.
Our treasurer could speak to that more precisely.
So what has your new facility done immediately for you?
It's opened up our availability of time. Our partnership with Faith Church was incredible because it was free rent, but it did limit the days and the times that we could use the space because of their outreach in the community. So we can now offer ESL classes on a Monday and a Wednesday, as opposed to a Tuesday and a Thursday, which works around soccer schedules. A lot of our families have kids getting involved on sports teams that fall on that Tuesday, Thursday, so we can accommodate and even just daytime options for different programming and just office space, that ability to have a place to meet and call it our home has been great. So
Being able to house someone like Union Community twice a month, that was not an option before. So things like that, connecting with the community, giving them, we have an open house
Yeah, so you're all welcome. August 15th, 6 to 8. You're all welcome.
Quick question, is it possible, and you may not have the answer right now, but I know you're inputting, because you're part of the partnership, you're inputting data into Empower Lancaster. Would it be possible to get a report of sort of, we get the yearly point in time count, but if it would be good, like, how many people are we currently tracking in Empower that are in East Lampeter, this month or this quarter, and then how many interactions with those folks, whether it's you or any of like Tenfold or one of the county's workers, but just, I think it'd be really helpful for the board to sort of get like, here's the pit count, but what's the real time? Like, we drive around, we see folks, but how many folks are sort of is there a touch point with in a given quarter or month? Yeah, and I know we don't need the full, like, here's, but more of it's like, here's the numbers, total families, total people interacted with, this month, would give us a little better idea of like, all right, are you talking to 3 people, 30 people, or 300 people in a given month?
I would tell you personally, this past month, it's probably doubled the calls that I've got. Just this past month.
And do you attribute that to?
What I'm hearing from our neighbors is it's tourist season, so hotel costs have gone up and food costs is up. And so when I used to get a call maybe on the 28th or 29th of the month, it's a little tight here at the very, very end. Now I've got it on like the 18th and 19th.
And how about preschool? Not preschool, but, getting prepared for school opening. Will that be an additional kind of piece for you guys?
Yeah, we are working with the social workers on that.
Yeah.
Getting connected with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for-
Very impressive. You guys.
Are you connected to Lisa Cleveland, recreational director too? Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
New fund address. These are some brochures that we recently submitted. If you would ever want more of these, even here at the office, please let us know. We have plenty to share. We were just hearing some folks in the community, it's hard to really like remember in a quick elevator conversation, like all the things that we do. So this just really kind of breaks it down so the community has a better understanding of that full holistic approach that we're taking.
Well, thank you for your time. Appreciate what you're doing. Love having you in our community, sort of spearheading a bunch of people doing a bunch of stuff, but having people say, hey, we're working with Seeds, they're working with everyone else. It's great. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to give our first budget workshop meeting August. There's an ask in here for extra funds. Do you want conversation now? We should at least put that in the draft budget, or we'll talk about it on August 20th.
Any direction that you want to give is fine.
I am definitely for increasing from even without the data. I love getting the data, but I've never seen an organization as efficient with the limited funds that we have given. That you need CVCs doing more things in the community. Yeah, so I'd be for the additional funds.
Same.
Yes. So, direct staff to go ahead and put that in our budget for full discussion at our budget workshop. Okay. All right, we will move on to item 6A, Rockvale redevelopment agreement. Is there anyone here for this? Claudia.
Good evening, Claudia Shanks from McNeese Walls and Nureg. Kristen Archik is with me this evening as well. The agreement that is before you this evening is entitled Trail and Street Improvement Agreement. It is the agreement that codifies what we discussed at length at your meeting last month with regard to a number of items related to the Rockvale development, specifically phase 5, but there are aspects of, or parcel 5, if you will, but there are aspects of parcel 2 as well that are addressed in the agreement. I'll go through it briefly. I don't go into as much detail as we went into last month. But in summary, the agreement requires us to pay our fee in lieu of park and rec dedication into an escrow fund that would then be used to supplement the cost of doing the streetscape improvements along Route 30.
All of the pedestrian improvements internal to the site would be constructed at Fernmore's cost. We're also agreeing in this document to contract with GMS Funding Solutions, who would assist us in seeing if there's any public funding available to reduce the cost or fund the cost of these streetscape improvements that are being proposed. Finally, the agreement contemplates a $20,000 fee in lieu of a traffic impact study to be paid with the township for use as the township desires. That funding could just go into your general fund. We do also, in addition to action on this agreement, still need action on the plan and the waiver request, but I understand there's been some discussion as to whether that would occur tonight or in subsequent meetings. Certainly, we're happy to discuss the plan and the waiver if the board's pleasure is to this evening.
Yeah, for the waivers and ones, we haven't had a chance to review that. We were in long hearings before this and then more meetings then. So we haven't seen it yet. So like our next meeting would be good. And hopefully maybe the planning commission can review it next week before our meeting in 2 weeks.
So the planning commission has already reviewed all our waiver requests. That's
Okay.
and nothing has changed since our discussion last month.
I guess we haven't, it's not on our agenda at this point. I haven't seen the if it's the same, but I don't remember the old one either then. So we'll hit it in meeting in 2 weeks.
That's fine.
So our solicitor has reviewed the trail.
That's correct.
Anything else from staff?
No, I just went back and forth through Shank as well as Ms. Piper and myself, and I think all of the comments have been addressed and we took into account the direction at your last meeting.
Any other questions from the board? Okay. Well, the chance if there's a motion too, but I'll open up. Is there any public comment on this item? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
The motion to approve the trail streetscape improvement agreement for Rockville Development.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Gallagher. Any public discussion on the motion? Any board discussion on the motion? Hearing none, we'll call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Motion passes.
Great, thank you. We'll see you at your next meeting.
All right. There you go. All right, under new business, we have none. And under item 8, supervisor discussion items, we have code policy to talk about. Our foundation fault alarm fees. So I'll pass it over to Tara to give us an update on a few of those items.
So Kim researched whether or not changes were needed to the tow policy, given the elimination of hazmat 2 in the county, and as well as if there's any other clauses of other municipal tow policies that we may want to consider. After thorough thought of this, it is evident that tow companies are just not trained to the level that hazmat 2 was, and therefore it's unreasonable to think that they would be able to provide that type of service for accident or fire or any of that type of nature. However, Kim did find that we probably need to make a change regarding EV towing, as they can't be towed on a rollback. They need to be towed on a flatbed. They also need to be stored a bit of a distance, 50 feet from a structure or another combustible item, as they have a tendency to reignite. And so these are things we may want to consider in changing the tow policy, but again, as to EV and not to hazmat 2 requirements. This may be something we want to discuss with the fire companies at the Emergency Services Committee meeting, which is scheduled for August 21st, as to whether or not additional training should be happening. Now, the county is in agreement with Lebanon County hazmat response that has some issues associated with it, with timing of response.
suggests delegating this to ESC, Emergency Services Committee, to discuss and come back with recommendations. That'd be my suggestion.
Any other thoughts from the board?
I agree.
Yeah, I think, yeah, kicking it to ESC to continue the discussion of what we need to potentially beef up on our side from hazmat, given the amount of traffic that comes in Route 30, up to 80% of the cars coming into Lancaster come right through East St. Peter. So we want to make sure we have a prompt response time to at least as much of the items as we can. All right, Park Foundation and false alarm fees.
So I have no report, and I'm just going to keep that as no report until we have the discussion with ESC, the Emergency Services Committee, about the false alarm reports. And Lisa is continuing to reach out to foundations and inquire as to how we might partner with them. So when we have more response, I'll report on those.
Okay. Other items to discuss? I'll just mention it here. I don't know if there's another better spot, but we have a National Night Out tomorrow night at Rockvale, Shops at Rockvale from 6 to 8 p.m. So if anyone's around, wants to see folk, township will be there. We've got our folks from the fire departments, police, community groups. So fun night to get out and meet your neighbors and visit National Night Out. All right, moving on to item 9, action items 9A. We have a public hearing and adoption of business improvement district ordinance. So at this point, I will open our public hearing for the business improvement district ordinance. And we have Lisa to give us an update on it.
Schaefer with Capital and Strategies. It's good to be back with you again tonight. When I was here 2 months ago, you had your public hearing on the Business Improvement District Permanent Plan. The idea to bring business owners together along the 30 corridor to provide additional funding to improve the business climate through things like marketing, sidewalk improvements, tree plantings, and other things of that nature. After that hearing, there was a required 45-day period in which business owners were permitted to file objections on that preliminary plan. It's my understanding that 3 letters were received in that time period, which does not meet the threshold that had to have at least 40% of the business owners object in order for the plan not to move forward. That threshold has not been met. And so there is a proposed ordinance before you this evening that would allow you to implement that business improvement district. That ordinance does contemplate the creation of an authority that is responsible for implementing the business improvement district. Tonight is just about establishing the district itself, and then the authority would be created by separate ordinance, probably at your September meeting after the appropriate notices. So everything is in place to move forward should you choose to do so, but I'm happy to answer any questions about the plan.
Thank you. Just a couple process questions. So we would create the ordinance, which would establish the district itself. And then the earliest in September, we would have a public hearing to create the business improvement district authority. And that authority process, assuming we have to create, how many board members would we be appointing, and then how are those chosen, and where do they have to, what are the requirements of those authority members?
So the makeup of the authority will be at your discretion. After you approve the ordinance, creating the authority, you will file articles of incorporation with the state, with the Commonwealth. In those articles, you would have to indicate who the first board members are and what their terms of office are. So you would have that discretion to choose those members. After that, once the board convenes, with the authority convene, they would create their bylaws and their rules of operation that would then set forth how those would be selected from that point forward. It is contemplated in a preliminary plan that the majority of those members would come from the business improvement district, businesses who would then have a voice how the funds are raised and that.
Excellent. And yeah, and reading through the preliminary plan, I think members we have to have someone from at least a property owner, a business owner, or someone who's leasing a business in the area, and an institution like a school or a theater or something like that. So there's some little bit of parameters of where the folks have to be from. That'll be part of as we create the authority itself. We'll be setting up how many, and then finding members for that. Yeah. Any other questions from the board?
Sure, I just noticed a minor error on the ordinance. It looks like under signature, this I, Secretary of the Board, our signature, so we just need to update the name on the signature on page 6.
So even though there's, a lot of decisions that basically after we create the authority for the district, for the authority to move forward, templates that have been successful, things like that. Easy contact staff.
So that would, I know we are here to get through the process of implementing the district and the authority, but so further conversations beyond that point.
Any public comment or questions from the public on this? Anything online? Yes. All right. If there's no more questions or comments, I entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Motion to close the hearing.
Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Thornton. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hearing is closed. All right. I'd like to get a motion on the ordinance. You wish.
Motion to approve the ordinance establishing the business improvement district with that minor change to the secretary's signature.
Second. A motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Gallagher. Any public comment or board discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question.
Say great work by staff and our consultants. Please take
Excellent.
note.
Yeah, staff has done a great work, and Capital Strategies has been a great partner getting us through this process. I'm excited to see it move forward to the next step. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Nays or abstentions? Hearing none, the motion passes. We will move on to item 9B, resolution for sewer planning module for Greenfield North Lot 5.
So if the board recalls, the high came in a while ago and requested that both Elsa and the Board of Supervisors allow a transfer of equivalent dwelling units for sewer capacity from Greenfield Lot 1, which is the residential piece, to Lot 5, which is one of the industrial pieces. And both boards permitted that, with the condition that they come back through with a sewer planning module, and this is that planning module.
Approve the plan.
To approve the resolution for sewer planning module for Greenfield North Lot 5.
Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Wright. Any public comment or board discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Vote or abstentions? Motion passes. Item 9C, resolution for right-of-way acquisition, Lincoln Highway Streetscape.
As township staff and the consultant is moving through the Route 30 streetscape implementation, we are in need of right-of-way from 3 Doris Drive, and the landowners are in agreement for this piece of the small piece that's needed for stormwater in this particular case. And so this is the resolution allowing that transfer. If you're okay, if I continue, the next piece is the settlement part of that, and that is providing that landowner payment for that land that we're obtaining for the neighborhood.
And the next one's also for
And then the next one is the actual easement document that we've been we've had before you on numerous properties along Route 30. And so this is so that we can actually go in and do the construction, both, there's a temporary construction easement and a permanent pedestrian easement in this particular case, as well as a stormwater easement.
Yeah.
Property.
At this
At
point,
this point.
this is the, with the others.
Motion to approve the resolution. Number here. Anyways, the owners of 3 Doris Drive, those owners being R. Michael Fritz and Tracy A. Fritz. Approve the agreement for the said property. And then also the easement agreement for said property.
You can use one at a time.
I would do these minutes. Sorry, Roger. I'm never trying to be efficient.
So Roger, you have a resolution for right-of-way acquisition for 3 Doors Drive. Is there a second? Second. Second by Mr. Meyer. Any public discussion or board comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed or abstentions, motion passes. And motion for the acceptance of the settlement agreement for right-of-way.
I'll make a motion for the settlement agreement for the right of way for 3 Doris Drive.
Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Thornton. Any discussion or public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed or abstentions, motion passes. Move on to item E. I'll entertain a motion for approval of easement documents for the streetscape patches.
Make a motion to approve the easement agreement for 3 Doris Drive.
Second. Voted by Mr. Rudd, second by Mr. Meyer. Any comment or public discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed or abstentions, motion passes. Move on to item 10A. Manager's report. Take it away, Tara.
Comprehensive plan is moving forward. We did have a open house at Community Park and had a few residents there. Our director of planning will be at National Night Out tomorrow night at Rockville to obtain more input on the comprehensive plan. There will be a small QR code and survey put out there for that as well. So we hope that everyone in the room here will participate.
Triple the responses.
Also, stormwater coordinator there for anyone that wants to know a little bit about stormwater, and Steph Leakway will be there for Parks and Recreation if you want to learn more about what's happening in the parks and recreation programming that's going on. Lisa Cleveland's been doing a great job trying to get a variety of options out there for all these things. And then the last thing is the announcement, which I think we've already done, but the budget workshop is August 20th, starting at 3 o'clock here in this room.
Super fun. Here we go. These are one of the most, these are the important meetings, and yeah. No sense. Any questions for Tara? Any public comment or stuff you thought of during the meeting? Yes, sir.
Before about this, I'd like to clarify it. I'm still a little hazy on the property.
And if you could state your name real quick for the record.
Jim Dellier. The property along Rockville Road and Bowman Road, on the north side of Rockville Road, on the east side of Bowman Road, it's about a 15-acre field. Is that zoned ag? I think the answer to that is yes. Now, my question is, years ago, when Glenn was on the board here, your urban growth boundary included that. In other words, even though it was zoned ag, the urban growth boundary line included that. When I asked about that, they said, oh, we didn't want our line to go like this. To go like this around us. My question is that parcel included in the urban growth boundary, or is it not?
It's not.
Okay, so the line.
So
Yes.
to be clear, it is zoned agriculture, yes, and it is not included in the urban area.
Okay, so at some point between when Glenn was on the board and now, somebody redrew the line. Apparently.
So there were a number of meetings between the county and township staff, and we went back and forth through that process to, I believe that was before my time at
This is
the township.
Yeah, I know, back when farmers were trying to get ag security and it was,
Yeah. So I've been here 13 years, so it's before then.
so the line does go regular and that 15 is, yeah.
That's
Excellent question. And if you have more of those, come to our comprehensive plan table and take a picture of the QR code. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Meyer, second by Mr. Thornton. Any public discussion or board comment? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Motion passes. Our next meeting is Monday, August 18th at 7 p.m.